Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of P&P's Den of Antiquities. Today, we are going to be talking about Andor Episode 10. But before we get into that, I just want to let you guys know that if you go, I'm sure I've talked about it on here before. I run a 3D printing business where I make awesome video game and Star Wars stuff. And I'm doing a giveaway right now for a lot of Lego Star Wars stuff. So the link's down below in my link tree. You can just go there and it's really easy to enter. You can see the post and all that stuff. So go check that out for a chance to win. But let's get into this. What did you guys think of this
Easily
episode?
my favorite episode
Yeah,
of the season so far. The amount of buildup that has finally paid off is definitely mind-blowing. And it really left me asking more questions than I had before. And it's really going to be annoying to wait a few more days, even though it's just a few more days, to know what happens next.
For sure.
Two-part finale. I mean, Andy Sturk, dude, that dude's a legendary actor. He stole that episode.
Oh,
Yeah.
And Charlie was thinking it as well. We were watching it, man. It was like, this is the way he's monologuing to to the camera. Yeah, dude, this is definitely like an Uprising Planet of the Apes moment. Like,
no, the speeches from everybody, Cassian, Kano, like Luthen, like all, like I was talking before we hopped on here, like I think this is some of the best Star Wars acting we've ever got, like period. Like I think it's top tier acting. They're bringing the heat with these.
Dude, that one at the very end with Luthen had me like glossing over like a little bit. I was like, oh man, I never thought about that.
You talking about the one where he's talking to the guy with the mustache on the platform?
Done.
Yeah.
He was done.
Yeah.
That gave me such Vader vibes right there with like the wind and the bridge. I was like,
yeah, you got a trench coat on. I was like, man, someone's either about to die or something's gonna be very epic. This is how this goes.
Heck yeah. We finally figure out what Cassian's cutting. I know I asked that question last week. I was like, what the heck is he cutting? I guess it's the water line or something like that. But what a genius move on his part to like deactivate the floors and stuff like that. Like
that was it, man. That water turned in it. I was like, well, we just figured out the kink in the system.
Oh yeah. It's I like how quickly Kano comes on board too, because at the beginning he's still like, what do you want to do, like he still thinks like it's the Empire, like they have power and stuff like that. That line that Cassian hits him with, he's like, it shows that they're weak, it shows that they're trying to convey power or whatever, and then he uses that in his speech,
even when they get to the control block room, I mean, he's like, tell him what to say, and he's like hesitating in his mind, so he's still got that subconscious fear.
That little thing at the very beginning, I love how that was a kind of Easter egg, like an echo of the com. It was very much like what he's going to say in 5 years: make 10 men feel like 100.
Yep.
I was like,
Well, that whole room where the echo, like the conference room, I guess the block hall where they announce and all that. I said it during the watch. I mean, this is just like A New Hope. When Harrison Ford is like, everything's fine, don't send any guards. It's perfect parallel.
I tell you what, though, I got that. I believe it's a DH-17, the blaster that they use. I'm like rough on blasters, but I found one of those at a Goodwill. It's the Nerf gun one. It doesn't have the handle, like the extra handle. I thought it was a magazine, but they were gripping it
I think it is a mag.
Because when Kano comes in, he's like gripping it and holding it, but maybe I don't know. But I've been wanting to like upgrade this and pimp this out. I need to like cut this little, like it's like a Nerf gun, so you can like shoot it. But I've been looking for some motivation, and I finally got some for it.
There are actually World War I and World War II guns. I know the British Sten and the Type 100. Both of those have a side magwell with a release on the button, so you basically hold the gun like this, and then you just press your thumb on it and pull it.
Yeah, dual function.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. So it could be like that, mechanism that they got inspired by.
Definitely. Man, there was a lot of people that got like bit the dust though. That red-haired guy bit the dust.
Poor new
guy did.
Yeah.
Like,
I still felt bad about his partner whenever he jumps up and he's hanging from it and he's right there.
Oh, I know.
Just like, he's off the screen.
Yeah.
I was such a roller coaster of emotion, man. We were like, it was like a cheer and like an moment. When
How about those guys need to become pitchers, man? Grabbing this like nuts and bolts and big cogs and stuff. And I mean, I got to give it to those guards. They were getting hit in heads with pipes, wrenches, everything, and they were still just blasting away.
Yeah. So, new guy comes down, and you're like, "Oh, dude, this guy, he's gonna first day. First day, he's lucky. He gets to escape first day, and then he gets shot, and we're like, oh, and then he gets up, kills a guard. We're like, yeah, and then he gets shot again. We're like,
poor guy.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess like he was probably like, "What the hell is going on?" Because like obviously he doesn't know like what the heck's going on.
It's a rowdy bunch right here.
Yeah. He goes with the flow though. He grabs that shock baton.
Yeah, he gets that guy.
So I mean, he gets it. I just don't think he had a plan for afterwards.
Caught us off guard because like our theories and stuff, we thought that they were gonna steal them Imperial 5 boots,
Yeah, they didn't crap about those.
And have the X-Wings pick them up. None of that happened.
I know. So I will say that I was a little deflated on that. Like I was so ready to see, like saw them just busting through that entry ramp, and nobody was there, and it was okay, but. I mean, still, man, they were punching through it. And just to know that all they know is they have to go, up. Yep. Just fighting and making their way, making their rounds up and hitting all the guard shacks at the end of, in every pod, knocking them out.
Oh, yeah.
So, well, what about all those guards that were like piled and like the main guy who was trying to be big and bad at the beginning?
Terrifying.
They're all just tucked down in that door.
Cowering with the shock batons because they all got guns.
Yeah, wait till Vader shows up for an inspection. We know he's getting force choked.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about the Empire, too, is like those guards probably think that they're safe. And they're just as much prisoners as the prisoners because if anything gets leaked, they're getting eliminated along with all of the prisoners in the encampment. That just shows you how like crazy.
Put them on the floor and fire them or whatever. Fry them. I can't remember. I can't remember the trend that these guys like. Yeah, fry 7, fry 8, you hit 12. Just fry all the floors.
Man, that sucks. I wouldn't want to work for the Empire, man, because even if you think you're safe and the prisoners escape, you still got like the head authorities that are going to show up like, why'd you let this happen? And then they kill you anyways. You might as well just give your life trying to stop it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the health plan's good, though. They got good dental and stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately, unless you're the Emperor, you're expendable.
Yeah, right.
Like even Vader was, to an extent. So it's kind of a trickle down system that only works for the head honcho. But on the flip side of the prison break, what did you guys think of that talk with Mon Mothma and the gangster guy? Because that was intense too.
That took a turn.
Some real like Game of Thrones style. Like,
I was gonna say that. Yes.
It's like I don't want no interest, just your daughter. I mean, fair trade.
Yeah, that was strange.
But he wasn't bold enough to say, hey, we're going to make this. He said, all I want is an introduction. Yeah. Let them decide.
But you know what that means.
He's
like, all I want's an introduction. Okay, dude. Really? Is that all you want? You're sure about that?
Felt kind of slimy, man.
Yeah. But I thought that was interesting because I didn't know that the Drillin? I don't know. But
no. Yes.
Yeah. They do the kind of like the medieval thing where it's like arranged marriages. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense that Mon kind of has this weird relationship with her husband because he kind of the banker guy kind of relates to or says that, and you can just kind of see it on her face that she does not want that for her daughter because she's going through it. And I think it's kind of like her husband and her like don't have, to me, it seems like any interests together or anything like that. So I just, man, that's I'm interested to see how that play out. And what do you guys think? Do you think Mon's going to do it, or do you think she's going to be like, nah?
Yeah, I think she's going
to do it.
Yeah,
probably that. And then her husband's going to do something very stupid. Find out whether it be, what you've been doing or something like that, and report like, I'm gonna go report this to the blah 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 and everything, and then that's gonna lead to Rogue One of her just having to leave Coruscant completely and go join in public the rebellion, because that's where it's gonna go eventually.
Yeah, they're not in the best relationship.
No, they need some help.
Yeah, I really hope he gets
Yeah.
something happens to him in the next 2 episodes. I just
not
like him.
No.
Because of that whole scenario, I really like I mean, I don't know if I was the only one that noticed this, but there was like a direct comparison between Mon and Luthen in this episode. Mon plants her feet in the ground, not wanting to bring her daughter into this, even though then she would have access to the funds, while Luthen is willing to give up someone else's child for the sake of the rebellion. So it really shows like the different sides of the rebellion that we saw more of in Rebels between Mon and Saw Gerrera. And then even with the meeting with with Luthen and the ISB officer, Luthen was also saying like he's willing to let 50 men die for the cause as well.
We keep getting many faces of that guy. You know what I mean? It's like you have the shop guy, you have the rebellion guy that brought Andor in, and now the true, the darker side of the guy. Everybody dies for the greater good.
Yeah, they really put him in that light, and or lack thereof, considering the way they filmed that scene. Like, it's Kate flown in the wind. It's like that empty bridge. It's all dark. Like, you're like, okay. And then on same with that too, is like we definitely saw in this episode kind of that side of Andor of like, escaping. Like, he was blasting everyone, and what is it? He took the gun and that guy was laying down, and he kind of just turned around, and was like, ding, killed him.
Yeah,
on the ground. I'm like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
I was waiting to see what was going to happen to the 2 guys in the control room. I was surprised to see them make it. I mean, I kind of felt for the guy on the left who's like, no, that's his section does that. He's somehow shutting the turbines down.
Yeah.
But
except for that poor third guy.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that movie? Is it Two Guns? When they're robbing the bank, I think. I don't know if it's that movie, but it reminded me of when the guy's sticking up the bank clerk, and he's like, "Do it, open the vault!" And he's like, "I genuinely don't have the keys. I cannot."
Yeah, that was I'm surprised they let those guards live, honestly, because like you would think that they would want to eliminate them, because you think they'd want to have as much time as possible to escape, so the guards can't notify. I mean, obviously they couldn't get to the guards that were in that were hiding, but you would think they would want to eliminate as many as possible. So there's no, I mean, I guess they did shut down the power, so I guess they couldn't contact anybody, because didn't he say like it'd take like a week or something?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So maybe started back up.
I think they were so in shock that prisoners were like having guns pointed to them.
Yeah.
That they didn't, like, they were doing what they were telling them to do, but it was like hesitant, very questionable. And
I loved it, man. I loved how Cassian referred to them as programs. Is the flip the
get
role
on program.
It was like on program.
Yeah, right. Like, how's it feel?
A little irony. Yeah.
Something cool I noticed about the 2 officers that were in the control room is in the credits they're listed as God and the Apostles.
Oh
wow!
What?
Yeah.
So I guess like the guy working the mic
is God, and then his 2 followers. So it's really interesting that they did that.
He's the voice.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
The big man upstairs.
Yeah.
Literally.
Oh yeah, and then man, this episode was chock full of a lot of stuff. So I say this half joking, half not. The scene where they're all at the top, and then Kano goes, "I can't swim." So there's one part of me that was like, "Oh man, he's not gonna make it," and then there's like a shit starter part of me that like, bro, you're 45-year-old man and you can't swim. Like, I figured that shit out when I was 5, bro. Mastered it when I was 5. Like, you kick your feet and you move your hands.
Doggy paddle.
At the bare minimum, you jump and then you go into an egg and you're buoyant. You're gonna float to the top, and then you figure it out from there.
Yeah.
Like, the alternative
he could have even jumped on the other people too.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I think
I'll grab onto their shoulder.
Honestly, probably Cassian probably would have done that if he
Except he
wouldn't
got
have
knocked
like,
off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then all those guys are like mad rushing over the top. Like you're definitely gonna have some dudes breaking their legs on other people and knocking.
And I hope nobody
out.
was looking for like Imperial Life Vests, because we know they're not about guard. Well, actually, there are guardrails in this and then in the Tony Gilroy world, but typically we don't see guardrails or any type of safety devices in the Imperial, stations and stuff. So
it was
there was no life vest.
Was that like an 80-foot drop or something? Maybe even more. It was
something like that. It had to be high.
Yeah, and then it falling on another human.
Yeah.
It was up there.
Somebody's definitely not realistic, I would say, because if you go past, I think it's like 50 feet or something like that. It's like hitting concrete, like it's like hitting the water is like hitting concrete.
Probably around that, yeah.
So it's Star Wars world. Who cares? But I would just, it's
you have to talking to Ewok, you sometimes have to disbelieve some stuff. But
for sure.
At the same time, you're just like, really? But then you feel about the poor guys that whenever they're escaping, everything one way out. Which, by the way, one of the greatest things of all, one of the tight things of all. When I hear that from now on, to hear Andy Serkis, I'm just like,
the way they all cheer too. Yeah,
oh god, loved it.
In January, you know what you got to say to him.
Yeah. Oh, I got that reference. Thank you. Yes. Like I couldn't help but feel bad for those poor rebels. I guess they would be, because everybody was all hyped up. Everybody was ready. They're breaking out, and those two guys fell down on like that, and everybody just gets trampled on them.
They're running through the halls. Yeah,
I always wonder what happened to them. Like,
they're done. They're done, dude. You can't handle that when there's hundreds of people flooding those things. Like,
that's the last we saw of Kino too. I mean, when he said he couldn't swim, because the last we see of prisoners after that is him and Melshi just frolicking through the dusty field,
dusty moon to the moonlight.
Yeah, I'm curious as to what they're gonna do with Melshi too, because I didn't even realize. I think we all recognized him, but he was in Rogue One.
Yeah.
So like obviously they go the same path. I wonder if he's gonna be like Andor's like homie during most of this. Now.
Well, the rumor is that they're going to Yavin next season. So I if that rumor is true, then I would just guess, they're going to be like buddy cops sort of thing until they get to Yavin, and then just build the rebellion from there.
Yeah.
Not build the rebellion.
The only reason I'd say I don't know if they would be is because like you don't really see in Rogue One, like they don't really interact much, or like they don't act like friends. So I'm like, what were they doing in that time? Because like they would have been buddy in Rogue One. So either they'll be a little buddy, or they might just get there and be like, all right, like thanks, like.
That'd be cool. That'd be a cool parallel if the way Cassian treats Melshi is kind of like Luke and Dak in Empire, like when they're in the snowspeeder and all that.
You mentioned them. I was gonna say Han and Lando, like they see each other in Solo, and then they might see each other again. But like as far as we know, they don't see each other again until Bespin. They have that like, you son of a bitch moment, doing the
Carl Weathers moment.
So maybe they do something like that too. Who knows? But how do you guys think they're gonna get off the planet? I saw those. You see like those little interrogation things flying around. My guess is they're probably gonna try to steal one of those. But like, how do you guys think they're gonna get off the planet? Any guesses?
Couldn't tell.
I don't know, but the only thing I could think that I thought of, I was like, imagine they went out and the planet was just those like security places. Like there's no way that it's just that. I was like, that would suck. I don't know why I thought that, but I was like,
either like a heck of a life raft or something like that. Because I had a weird Camino vibe. I was like, man, I can't remember when they were going into this planet if it was completely water, like Camino, or if it was land and everything. I was like, oh, thank God. Then I was like, at the very end, but they were bare feet, and hope that's not.
It looked like what, desert kind of? I mean, they were kind of on the beach. But
I was gonna say like Rishi from the Clone Wars, where they had the slugs coming. It kind of looks similar because it looked like off in a distance there were like caverns and stuff like that, like tunnels and stuff like that.
That'd be interesting if it is the moon.
Yeah, that'd be cool, or something like that. Like they had to fight off giant space worms or something.
They should get aliens.
Oh God!
And then
I'm curious to see what they'll do next episode, because like they're gonna have to I don't know how much they'll put into like them escaping, but I want them to put in a good amount of we see them escape, but I also don't want most of that episode to be taken up. You know, if it's a 2-part finale, I'm like, I want the finale to be like one big episode, but if half of that's like escaping, I'm like,
so, I mean, but I think we're getting to the point where we have to wrap up something with Dedra and, Luthen, but also our boy Cyril Khan.
Serial Khan, yeah.
Mr. Serial Man himself. So I'm just wondering if we're going to get more on that side. Obviously, still going to be some Cassian, because you got the one chick standing outside his mom's house,
Sita, yeah.
Yeah, Senta, yeah. She's been...
And then one of Dedra's officers was following her.
Is that okay? So that's who that guy was.
Yeah.
Okay.
She looks angry all the time.
What's going on, man? Appreciate you stopping by.
What's going on, buddy?
Awesome Mandalorian right there.
Well, what I was gonna say too is I think we might see Kano again one last time, and Daedra's interrogating him with Neuro guy. To see maybe she finds out something about Cassian, and then she goes to Kano and interrogates him, and then figure out he left the planet or something like that. Like they're tying in a lot of stuff, so maybe we see like more interrogation scenes or something like that. I think Andy Serkis interrogation scene is, I mean, he's just such a great actor. Like, I think he would knock that out of the park. Like, that seems like that would be an awesome.
He steals any scene he's in, man.
Yeah,
that would be so sad though if the opening to the next episode is just he didn't even jump and they caught him.
He gets captured right away.
And they're just like, so.
Or it's a turn and he's found all those guys hunkered down in that room. And he's just freaking wailing on them all, taking them all out.
Oh man, just pulling a complete Caesar because again.
Caesar, yes.
Doing that, yeah. Oh my God, again. Yeah. I loved the transition of his act. Again, just talk about his legendary acting. Is when the power went out. Whenever they did that and everything, and he was on the very edge. At first, it kind of looked like he was, freaking out a little bit, like, oh, this is happening. But when the lights went out. And they came back on, and the look on his face when he looked straight up into those balconies and everything like that, I was like, yes!
That boy found the power, man.
Oh God, it was so good.
Yeah, but I love
everybody had the aggression too. The way Cassian jammed that
he grabbed his leg and pulled it. And then I remember. Oh God, it's so good.
Well, I love whenever he was like, everybody on top of the tables. They're talking about light the floor up.
Yeah.
Oh, and that one guy just got completely electrocuted.
But it seemed like there were still other folks sitting on the ground on the floor that
he was
get popped. Yeah, so was he in the water?
I guess I don't know. I guess it just fried before it got to him.
He's that much of a badass
because he was intense. He was like, he saw the ground and he was like, these motherfuckers, and looks up and like, let's go.
I'm watching it again.
Sorry about that.
What did you guys? I didn't see the spy thing coming with Lonnie. Like I was like, what is he doing? I was like, he was kind of like, I was like, okay, cool. Like I knew it was him from the scenes beforehand and stuff like that. And it was cool. I was like, oh, we're getting some Underworld vibes. Sick. Like what's going on? Like I thought he was going to like be like an investigator or something like that because he says it in the next like that one scene. He's like, oh, we need to investigate to not look suspicious. But. Man, that was a turn. That was a turn for sure.
That was trippy.
Definitely unexpected.
No, did not at all, man.
I mean, what do you think he's gonna do after that conversation, though? I feel like he's gonna pick a side though, and it won't be the rebellion. I think he might go and rat.
But if he does, then he's dead.
He's dead. Yeah. So
unless he can spin it in a way like some Game of Thrones.
Trying to figure out what's gonna happen next. Like it's to the point where it's just like no. Rogue One happens. We know that. Everything else is just up in the air.
And it's crazy that so Luthen's trying to get it starts with a K. Who's the guy that he's sacrificing?
Oh,
he's trying to get Saul to join him.
Krieger?
Krieger.
Yeah, Krieger.
Yeah, it's so funny that he's trying to get Saul to join him and all that stuff, and Saul's like, nah, son, I ain't about that life. And then literally 2 episodes later, he's like, well, we got to sacrifice him. We got to sacrifice him. It's for the cause. I was like, damn, that's a very Saw Gerrera thing to do right there.
But you saw how that guy Lonnie was like. He was like, for real, like, we can't do this. You can't do this. You have to warn him. And he's like, no. So that Lonnie has, it seems like he has some deep ties in the rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
So,
does anybody? I mean, obviously, just by the name we'd know, but looks wise, if you think like 10 years down the road or something. Lonnie, is it possible he's Blue leader from Rogue One?
No, because that was Anton Merrick.
Yeah, I was just saying, I'm pretty sure it's a different guy. But
I mean, he could have changed his name, to,
yeah,
and dyed his hair.
He has the mustache. Well, aren't they both ginger? Like redheads?
I think the guy, the pilot.
He's
blonde.
like blonde.
I think. It's been a minute since I've watched Rogue One.
That knowledge is beyond me, man. That's not my realm.
Tell me all their hair colors now.
Are you a true Star Wars fan? List all the hair colors. Go.
Name every clone.
My goodness. Man. Yeah, it was that scene itself, man, where he's like, I think about you every day and everything like that, talking about the kid and everything. It's like,
I thought that was deceptive of him because I don't think he meant that in the way that guy thought. I think he thinks about him every day because he has anxiety, because he's like a man on the inside, not like, oh, I care about you. Oh, like if you mess up or do anything, like you can compromise me. I think he thinks about him like that and not like in the, friendship, like, oh, you mean a lot to this hero thing. Like, I think that's the web he's spinning.
Even just in the way they showed him in that scene, I think it's showing like, okay, this is the guy that will literally, like, no rules apply. Like, he'll kill anybody. He'll do whatever.
That monologue, man.
Oh, the monologues in this whole thing, it was just, it was crazy. It was crazy good.
He's just straight. He's like, you're trapped. Nothing you can do.
Yeah, he's like, oh, what are you gonna tell the ISB? He's like, oh, I'm gonna tell them my health. I'm like, the ISB does not give a shit about your health, dude. Like, they'll kill you faster than the rebels will.
I love when he's coming down. He has the earpiece in, and he said, "If there's a trap, hit buttons 1, 2, blah blah blah."
I know, right? My early days of Matrix.
I love how throughout the episodes, the ISB slowly started focusing all their efforts based on Deidre's obsession for Cassian.
Yeah.
Like before, at the beginning, they're like, don't worry about that.
Who don't we see? Oh, Blevin, because he's, washing toilets or something, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
we see you, boy.
Yeah, this was the first episode that didn't show like every character, which I liked because it kept to the heist, but we didn't see like anyone really.
What happened to Bix and the
well, I guess
other
actually
guy?
We did.
The other guy got hanged for sure.
Yeah.
Did he already, or do you think we'll see that?
We may see that. I mean, because we got to go back to Ferrex. So it's probably, and that's probably going to be one of the things that just literally lights it and sets it off.
Well, there's Death Troopers on Ferrex because we see that in the trailer.
Oh boy.
We also see a crew of people saying Marva's not looking too good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna break my heart.
I know. I'm curious to what's gonna happen with her because she's all like, "I'm part of the rebellion now." Like, is she gonna be at all a big part of the whole battle that might happen there?
Man, I just think
they get shot. Honestly,
yeah. She's probably gonna walk out, drop a Death Trooper, and then it's just gonna.
Yeah, I think once the Empire, like the Empire might kill her or something, and then that'll spark probably the rest of the town to rise up against them because she seems like a pretty like prominent person in this little community that they have on Ferrex. Well, so I think the Empire might make the wrong move by killing her, and it might lead to their downfall.
Oh yeah.
I think it'll probably be two separate things happen, like two different battles. Probably they'll jump back and forth.
Oh yeah. I'm excited, man. These you can definitely tell it's picking up. They kind of I've said it quite a bit. Some of the pacing in the show has been a little rough, but I definitely think it's worth the build up, man. Like
this complaints.
This prison break episode, like I was like, man, did we really need 2 prison episodes when it could have been 1? But like, I think they made you wait, but they also delivered on it. It's one thing to like make you wait and then it just like falls flat. Like I will say that same thing about the prison, or no, not prison heist, just the heist too. They made you wait for 2 episodes, and you're like, all right, man, come on. But then they really deliver. Like, I think that's one good thing about this show is like they know what they're doing. It seems like, you know, they're really dropping when it needs to hit, it hits. So
yeah, we spend so much time with individual characters that when shit does hit the fan, it's like just a really nice release for the viewers. And I think that's why I think that's why some of the other shows like Boba and Kenobi might have not have hit the same, was because when there was like an episode that felt slower, there wasn't really like a payoff in the next episode. So that's why I think this is really, really doing well with that.
Oh yeah, well that was my biggest thing with Kenobi. With man, I'm blanking on her name, but the Game of Thrones chick, and the robot.
I know. Yeah.
Like
the other day,
that was supposed to be like a really intense scene, but for me personally, I felt nothing when that happened, and it's because we didn't spend enough time with those characters. I'm like, oh no, rebels! Like you're supposed to feel bad. But like nothing really, because you don't spend enough time with them. So I completely agree with you on that.
I definitely think they're going for like a Rogue One like styled, in the sense of we get so much time with so many of these characters. I feel like they're doing that so that they can kill them off, and then obviously we're gonna be like, damn it, like that's bad because everyone dies in Rogue One, and I don't doubt
a lot of it has to do with the feeling of it too, because if you look at the movies, for example, like Hayden Christensen, within the past like couple of years, he's been blowing up from everything Star Wars. I guess people that haven't even been watching Star Wars have just been like, "Oh my gosh, Hayden, I've always loved you." And like, I haven't, dude. You're just jumping on the hype that everyone else says
because of Obi-Wan.
Yeah, they were probably the people that were saying the prequels suck too, which is kind of annoying. But when you look at it in retrospective, I mean, Hayden was only in 2 movies. But
that's true.
And he didn't have a crazy amount of lines. He was a main character, but he wasn't a crazy amount of screen time. It was a good amount.
He put a lot of.
But it's the feel. It's the way everything looks, and it's the way things are moving forward. Everyone has their own, cup of tea when it comes to though. So like Kenobi, like you were saying, like I didn't feel anything when you saw that character because he didn't spend enough time. See, for me, you were talking about the chick with the detonator, right? That
Tala
sacrificed herself.
Tala, that's it.
I know that show.
See, I actually felt something. That's just me, though.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, okay. I think that was one of the more impactful characters. I definitely liked her more.
It was more Ned, you know that. Yeah. It was more Ned. You were still heartbroken.
I liked I liked both of the characters. I thought they were cool. It's just like we didn't spend enough time with them, and you could tell that they were setting that up to be a real like this. It was slow. They really paused on it and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I don't.
That scene though, like with her sacrificing herself, it wasn't so much the character building. It was for me. It was the way everything was looking and how everything was being delivered. So like, okay, that makes sense. They're closing the doors. These troopers are coming in. She has to make the move. I'm like,
I'm totally blanking. Who are we talking about? What's
Tala, the rebel spy girl?
Remember in the tunnels towards the end?
In Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
They're invading the base.
She holds a thermal detonator, and Ned B like.
We've now gone back to Kenobi.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Mike's like, hold on. Where are we at? I thought it was a prison break. I swear.
Yes, no, zero con. Nice. I completely agree. He makes the show. If he's not in the show, it's 0 out of 10 for me.
Him and his cereal, which they need to release. They need to release that cereal. It needs to be at Batu. That's what
I still want to make they made like the bars or whatever on Star Wars their account. I want to make that YouTube video of me making the cereal bars.
Max, was it you that said we need to get a live action Bothan?
Dude, yes, please. Where the hell are
we talk about Bothans all the time? They're in like a few comics too. But,
I know, but like I've never seen one in live action though. That's the thing.
I swear there's been one like in the cantina of Hope or something.
Man.
Correction, Ben, because you're probably right. We need to see one like
with a
not in the background, like say
modern age.
Nick's like actually, if you freeze frame,
hold on.
Well, in Jabba's palace, there's like a really big mouse-looking guy. Is he a Bothan or is
with
he
the
a different
whiskers,
type?
right? I thought so.
Is he a different species or is he a Bothan? Because maybe that's a Bothan, but usually Bothans have like a longer. They're kind of like dog-looking creatures.
I gotta do my Bothan homework.
So,
I don't know.
But I know he's a really popular like character. Like a lot of people love his background character. Like he has like toys and stuff like that of him.
See, when the Kenner figures came out, they didn't have a lot of names for these guys. One was literally called like Hammerhead and like Dog Face and like weird, you know.
I've never seen this thing in my life. What the heck? It's like a werewolf.
Yeah.
Oh,
but they mention it, and like many Bothans have died to get us this information. And they're also in the one I know them from is Battlefront, because they're the invisible guys.
Oh, those guys.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever
Star Wars
seen
werewolves.
Yeah, exactly. And I know an Heir to the Empire, like the really crappy senator that puts Ackmore in prison. He's a Bothan.
Oh yeah.
Too. So, spoilers if you haven't read Heir to the Empire, but kind of too late now.
Thanks a lot.
No.
I think there might be one at the casino on Canto Bight.
I'm trying to
Now,
find.
I would go for that.
Okay, yeah. I haven't watched those movies.
It looks
probably
more
as
like
much as I
a
should,
cow
so.
than like a dog. But
I think I'm looking at the same pic. I'm looking at the picture you're talking about. I think right now. I don't know. If
he's got like the black on with like the white sash.
I'll have to go back and watch that scene
one.
then and check it out.
Yeah, he's right here. He looks like a cow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's definitely a bot. That has to be.
He just shaved because they're on Canto Bight.
Well-groomed Bothan, you know.
What is this? Some weird stuff?
Can I get some well-groomed Bothans in the chat?
Put a heart in the chat for a well-groomed Bothan. Need some Bothan love in the chat. Oh man. But yeah, this show, I think it's really hit hit a good stride. I know it feels like, I feel like that's probably with most Star Wars. It's either like, oh, I hate it, or oh, this is the best Star Wars I've ever gotten in my life. You know, I feel like that's kind of the two spectrums you hear, and I don't think this show's any different. But I really, man, they're really doing good with the show. Like it's not perfect. Nothing's ever perfect, you know. But
I think it's a good break in a way, because even though it's not like what we are used to, that's like also what's good, because all the shows we've had like main characters, popular people, even in like in Mando and Boba, and we see Luke, and like all this stuff is like very Star Warsy. But this one is like, okay, we're just gonna have this Star Wars world, and you can just enjoy it. And like, yeah, they're in jail, and that's a very normal thing. But it's like, that's pretty cool to Star Wars fans. I think this more appeals to like in-depth Star Wars fans that want to look at the background stuff, or they're like, I want my house to look like a prison now, you know, and like build all the stuff. And like we're all wanting the pajamas now that they wear. Like that'd be super easy.
I'm a tourist.
There was that argument on online. You see that picture? It's like you pay $5,000 to stay at Galaxy's Edge, and it was like, why does my bedroom look like the prison from Andor?
Yo, I was going to mention that.
And I'm like, well, if you're liking Andor, is that a bad thing? I don't know.
No, this is funny, though. So that's where all the Bothans went. His Craig.
That's awesome. Krieger's crew.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, I saw that where they were saying like the bunk beds for the Star Cruiser look exactly like the
I saw that.
I was like, hey, that's immersion at its finest right there. There you go.
Listen, when you got a ration tube coming out of your wall, that's something suspicious.
Does it have the flavor though?
Honestly, if I had a ration tube and it was actually good, it wasn't like just like paste or something like that. That sounds pretty sick. You have like food right there.
Dude, that'd be good if it was applesauce.
Oh yeah, some blue milk.
Go
some blue milk.
Oh yes,
or whatever you want.
There you go.
That's the
lever so you get blue and green.
Get the alcoholic blue milk. You can just get tipsy in your bed, man. Like,
except for Mike in California, they can't do that.
Let's go. Yeah, unless you're in California, then it's a no go. It's a no go. But okay, so I saw this. I follow a few Facebook groups, and they had mentioned that Studio Ghibli. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Studio Ghibli. Mm-hmm. They do like Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, a lot of the really popular animes. They're working with Star Wars, and Star Wars literally before we went on just dropped. So that Grogu special that you guys were talking about, I think Nick, you might have brought it up. not 100%. Somebody brought it up in the chat or Instagram that they were going to have like a Grogu special in December or something like that. So that's what it is. Studio Ghibli and Star Wars teamed up together, and it's going to be Studio Ghibli style-esque short with Grogu. So I think that's super cool because I'm a massive Studio Ghibli fan.
Yeah.
And I think that it'll probably be super short, probably 5 minutes, probably anything crazy.
I thought you were gonna say it because I'm a massive Grogu fan. I'm like,
okay, I do have
to each his own.
I do have a baby Grogu back there. He's cool, but he's not my favorite. But it's cool though. I like that they're branching out and working with other. Because if you would have asked me if Studio Ghibli and Star Wars would have ever worked together, I'd be like, nah. So it's
haven't
cool
they already for Visions? Didn't they do an episode or two of Visions?
I don't think so.
Oh,
that would be sick. And Disney, if you're listening, please do that for season 2 because I know.
Yeah, maybe season 2. That I thought they did. Maybe not then.
Star Wars is becoming one of those IPs, man. That companies that you think would never work on it are jumping on board.
Dude, I'm all for it. I'm all for more. That's what I was suggesting with the video games. I was like, you gave the video games license to the worst company ever. I'm glad that they're branching out now. I'm glad that they dude, I will fire the shots all day long. Not the companies that work for EA, but EA itself is
we'll
leave it.
We got robbed.
We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at
I'm wondering and I'm hoping because they're both Disney, but if you guys have seen they're releasing a live action Guardians of the Galaxy little side movie or show or something.
Oh, the Christmas special?
Yeah, the Christmas special. And nice. Because they're the same, I'm like, I would hope, and I don't know how they do it because a lot of people take Star Wars more a lot more serious, so they wouldn't want have Mando go kidnap Santa or something. No one would want that. Obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy.
What are you talking about?
Death Troopers have Santa on the ground, old man.
But Grogu force choking Santa.
I'm hoping that we can get some of that for Star Wars because if they're doing it for Marvel, it's Disney, they own it.
Holiday special nice round 2, let's go!
Yeah, I want live actions
Lumpy. Let's bring
I want to see Darkseid Shadow Yoda from the Clone Wars when he's fighting himself. I want to see him force choking Santa. Your cookies you will give me.
Okay,
this took a turn.
I joke about this all the time. I found this at a garage sale where it's just a Yoda dressed up as Santa Claus, and he has a Santa Claus hat. Probably my favorite thing in my collection. And I joke, I'm like, all hail our Lord and Savior, Yoda Santa Claus. That is the best thing ever. I don't know why that's my thing. I have a Funko Pop, and then I found a little Yoda head one. I'll show you guys later on and stuff like that because I don't want to go look for it right now. But yeah, we definitely need that. I'll even take a dark side Yoda Santa. Let's do it. Yoda just has to be Santa. That's all it has to be.
I forget what it was. I was seeing one meme when I got up this morning or something like that. Someone did a Yoda, but did a Hulk Hogan thing like that.
Oh,
try to do not, brother.
Listen here, brother.
It killed me. Oh, I'm sorry. This went from that night. Carry on. I'm sorry. I had to.
I think the best project they could do for a special would be the Death Trooper zombie for a Halloween special. What was it called? Project Blackwing.
Blackwing, yeah.
So that's the original Death Trooper, not the actual Death Trooper armor. Yeah. That's the undead.
The undead. Yeah, that'd be a cool. That'd be
a cool.
If
they just made a 15-20 minute little thing of them just getting on the first ship. Stormtroopers just having to fight the zombies.
They do it with the Lego stuff all the time. It's not super hard.
Well, that was cool in Marvel's What If. They turned everyone into zombies in that.
Yes, dude.
Oh, I definitely think we need a Star Wars What If. Just different stuff. I think that make it non-canon. Just go crazy with it, man.
The fact that we don't have What If for Star Wars is criminal.
Yeah, I mean, there's too many unanswered what if questions that would just be sick in a short, I don't know, for instance, the if Qui-Gon lived, that one, man, if they made that into a show, because that would literally change everything. That's I'm taking this from Dave Filoni himself, but that's literally the Duel of the Fates. If you guys haven't seen that speech,
yes, dude,
go
that
YouTube that right
breaks
now.
Down the thing where he literally like even talked to George Lucas about it and everything like that. And he's like, yeah, that's exactly it. And
heroes leave.
Yeah, I know. I was like you're about to start some stuff in the chat, man. The chat's about to blow up.
Do you guys know Do you guys know the answer to that? Because I know there is an answer.
I think the answer is that originally yes, and then they went back and edited it, and he
so he just shot him, and then like on like the third.
That's why his head literally moves like this. It's like
I think that looks like goofy though. Like even if he didn't shoot first, you shouldn't have made it look like that.
Like literally, it's just his head moves. His body doesn't move.
With if you notice, even on the nowadays one, when he walks around the CGI Jabba. Mm-hmm. When Han and Jabba like meet at first on screen, they just like cropped him where when he goes over his tail, he just like his body goes up and down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I think that about wraps it up for this one, guys. Thank you again for coming on and talking Star Wars with me. It's always so much fun having all of us around, and thank you guys for watching. And as always, may the Force be with you.
Stay awesome.